Have you ever pondered the sheer absurdity of taking the most fearsome apex predator in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Mythos, shoving the beast through a zany, ink-splattered portal, and watching the monster emerge as a bouncy, hyperactive parody of a former self, because that is precisely the delightful madness we get with Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon. Right off the bat, you cannot help but marvel at the anatomical hilarity of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon, where the terrifying majesty of the original three-headed behemoth is squashed down into a disproportionate, bobble-headed nightmare wrapped in a glossy, cel-shaded sheen. The three craniums of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon are comically oversized, sporting bulging, spiraling eyes that dart around with manic unpredictability, while the gaping maws resemble harmless, oversized bear traps painted in bright, primary colors, lacking the jagged realism of a true reptile. Instead of rugged, battle-hardened scales, Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon boasts a smooth, almost plastic-like hide that reflects the artificial, illustrated nature of Toon World, giving Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon the appearance of an incredibly dangerous vinyl toy brought to terrifying life, completely subverting the austere aesthetic we usually associate with legendary dragons. Now, when we delve into the personality of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon, we leave behind the stoic, unrelenting fury of the predecessor, stepping instead into a realm of pure, unadulterated mischief. As Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon does not just want to obliterate foes, Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon wants to humiliate adversaries with theatrical flair. Picture Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon prancing around the battlefield with a goofy, unhinged grin, perhaps slapping a metaphorical cream pie into the face of a dark sorcerer before dropping a literal anvil on their heads, showcasing a cruel sense of humor that only a cartoon villain could truly appreciate. Within the canonical hierarchy of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon holds a position of supreme, almost tyrannical authority over the fantastical realm known as Toon World, reigning as the undisputed apex predator of an environment where the laws of physics are merely polite suggestions. Toon World itself is not merely a geographical location. Toon World is a psychological playground, a chaotic pocket dimension forged from repressed childhood whimsy and dark, possessive obsessions, and Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon stands as the ultimate guardian, the crown jewel of this cartoonish empire designed to protect the fragile ego of the realm's creator. The existence of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon serves as a profound narrative cornerstone in the overarching story of Yu-Gi-Oh!, representing the ultimate ideological clash between cold, calculated corporate power and chaotic, unbridled artistic expression, mocking the very foundations of solemn pride. The creation of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon is a direct, targeted insult aimed at the supreme arrogance of Seto Kaiba, warping the most cherished, irreplaceable icon into a skipping, giggling mockery, which essentially weaponizes nostalgia and copyright infringement in the most devastating, psychologically damaging way imaginable within the Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore. Drawing obvious inspiration from the classic rubber hose animation style of the 1920s and 1930s, Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon perfectly encapsulates that vintage era where inanimate objects and animals moved with a surreal, bouncing elasticity, blending the mythological terror of the Greek Hydra with the slapstick, anarchic sensibilities of a vintage cartoon short, making viewers wonder if Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon might suddenly break into a vaudeville routine. You might find a brilliant piece of trivia fascinating, noting that while the single-headed variant terrorized audiences during the earliest days of the franchise, the arrival of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon remained a myth for decades, only recently solidifying an official existence. From a theoretical playground rumor into a tangible reality, proving that some artistic nightmares simply take longer to ink. Moving into some unique speculation, one has to wonder if the three distinct heads of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon do not merely represent multiplied power, but actually embody the fractured psychological state of the original creator, with one head giggling in manic joy, the second sneering with malicious intent, and the third staring blankly in sorrowful, isolated paranoia. Furthermore, perhaps the real tragedy of Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon is that Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon is fundamentally trapped, an omnipotent god confined within the margins of a comic book, desperately seeking to break the fourth wall and unleash cartoonish wrath upon the real world, forever bouncing to a whimsical tune Blue-Eyes Toon Ultimate Dragon cannot escape, doomed to smile through the eternity of Yu-Gi-Oh history.